Topic we have today is stop raising children who need everyone to like them. Were we part of this epidemic? This is like a hidden agenda, a hidden curriculum in a family. You're the older child, so don't do this. You're a girl, don't do this. You are the youngest of the children, so don't do certain other things. So everything was there somebody telling us not to be ourselves. So we see most of us are so exhausted, not because of work. Work is one side, it's physical, we can just get done with it. We have developed that ability. But is it because I'm constantly monitoring others' reactions? Will they like it? Do they want it? Should I adjust? Did I not say this properly? Should I have said that in a different way? Did they reply? It's endless. Can you recollect that? Because I am becoming the invisible curriculum for my children around me. They observe me, they look at me, they see me how they behave. It's more like emotional accounting. For everyone, I hold this account. Am I treating them properly? Am I doing this properly? Somewhere this approval becomes like an addiction. I'll give you an example. I was working with this boy who had just broken up with his girlfriend, and he was devastated. Couldn't say anything, but going back to his upbringing, father was very direct, very open, but loud, not very careful with words, quick to anger, but very loving person, quick to anger. Mother was frustrated with the father's behavior much before even the boy was born. So for her, just from the day the boy was born, don't be like your father. Don't become like your father. And the boy growing up did not know what is it to be not like a father. Because he would see the love also from the father. He would see eccentricity also, but love also. And that stuck in his head. Don't be like your father. Then how should I be? So every time he was like talking, no, I want this to eat this only today. Don't be like your father. So he built this persona of himself, smile at everyone, talk to everyone, and say, "Are you like this all the time with everybody?" Yes. Are you? How do you feel inside? Very suffocated, very angry, very painful. And this is when he took liberty with his girlfriend to be himself. I don't like it. I would rather not do this. And then she was like, "This is not the person I knew. You were such a sweet person, saying yes to everything." And suddenly, what happened? And she couldn't handle it. That is when the breakup happened. So, this is one of the incidents, and we have several of those. If we can just hold it out for 5 minutes each day and just think about who am I trying to please around here. If I am doing this, then I am raising children who are also needing that approval from everybody. A long time ago, this is probably like 40 years ago, a cousin of mine also went through a heartbreak. And then there was nothing. I mean, he couldn't share it with anybody. So he just got into this brisk walking, jogging, hiking. I mean, he walked and jogged so much that he sweated out. And he healed himself, no counseling, no therapy, just he walked it out. And even to this day, he's an avid trekker, you know. Um, but now children have social media. They get lost in that world. I mean, it seems to give instant solace. I feel at peace. So I go in there and I share my stories, and there are 20,000 other children who are sharing similar stories that they cannot share it with their parents. And then they come up with their own strategies. They are longing for support from elders, but we are lost in our own need for approval. So, somewhere, this is the moral individuality not developing. There is individualism, I, me, mine, I want like this, something, but morally, ethically, is that right? It's not about pleasing, don't be like your father. If later the child would ask, what do you mean don't be like him? Should I not care like he does? Should I not be funny like he is? And then mother would have been little bit more precise. Don't yell like your father. Don't be quick to get angry like your father. If we can elaborate those sentences, then it is like there is difference between love and approval. Love is, I see you the way you are fine, but I may not like this particular action you have done. I mean, this used to bother me a lot. When somebody said, um, I don't like what you have cooked, for example. I used to be instantly getting angry, instant, because I thought that was rejection. No, that one thing, 10 others, they may have appreciated me, but that one thing puts me down because I'm seeking approval from everyone, everything that I do, which is so difficult because people are going to say they have to be authentic, because we talk also being authentic is one of the things I need to develop in myself. So with authenticity also comes how I present it. I could be direct with somebody, but then I need to learn until the rapport between me and them develops. This is very interesting. I was really happy yesterday. I have a neighbor, and we keep, sharing, and she makes coffee and brings it over, whatever, like that. So I made some snacks. I gave it to her. She said, "Nah, I'm not very keen on eating it now, but I'll give it to my husband." So she went to give it and come back. She gave the entire thing and came back. And she would never have done this, but yesterday she walked into the kitchen, took a bite with herself to have it with coffee, and came back and sat down. And I felt so good about it. Then I don't have to care so much for her. If she likes, she will eat. If she doesn't like, it's okay. But getting to that was an effort. We kept talking, let's not have any of these obligations between us. You ask, I may say no, don't feel rejected. Let's develop that kind of a rapport. Then I don't have to be ugly about saying no. And she doesn't have to feel ashamed to ask for something. So, approval and love are two different things. When I have love for my child, the child gets this feeling, yes, my mother will tell me, my father will tell me if I'm wrong. That doesn't mean I am wrong. That particular thing I did was wrong. This definitely comes from the language we use. They do something, we say, you are useless. You are 9 year old and can't even lift it. One particular thing, he had not carried it, he dropped it, whatever. So when this becomes like a condition, when I don't complete my sentence, where I'm myself suffering, I've created that curriculum in the family. This is how you behave. Don't speak loudly. Don't disappoint grandparents. Be polite. Smile. What's wrong with you? So maybe growing up, the child, like in the first example I gave you, child will agree, smile, and I think my everything is fine with my child, but deep down, it's hurting, right? And we're looking for a way out, and we don't know where to go. That's the danger of praise. When we praise children when they do a good job. I don't know what that good is. And it changes moment to moment. And child really gets confused. And they try to become perfectionists in whatever they think they might be pleasing us with. I'll do this for you, I'll take care of that for you. Don't worry, you don't have to cook for me, you know, whatever like that. Somewhere I begin to forget myself, my own experiences. I become secondary. And I try being a person X in front of here, person Y in front of somebody else. Who am I? I'm totally lost. That is when the pressure begins to build up. So let's not indirectly give this fear of disappointment to the child, fear of rejection to the child. Because especially now with the social media, children get lost. Most of us had this growing up also, but then we had so many physical chores that we were doing, so much of walking back and forth to the college, to the school, and so much of exertion physically that the built up stress somehow didn't carry on for too long. Memory stayed, feeling stayed, and we still suffer because of that, but we didn't go to that extreme. Somewhere we begin, when we grew up a little bit enough, to understand, we started, yeah, my mother's situation was like that. Yeah, maybe this, we build that kind of an understanding. But children, it's not so now. And as a parent, I also struggle because I don't understand. Why can't I expect my child to be well? I mean, this is for his well being. So understand that the language I speak, the attitudes and beliefs that I'm carrying, the stories I tell myself when something happens, they're all good inputs for me as a parent to understand that I need to maybe change this curriculum, add something new in it, delete something from it, and together grow. That will become such a beautiful experience for everyone. Thank you.